Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Ted Bogert, TGIF. We are back with the Ted Show on this Friday. All of us kind of anticipating, especially us in Florida, what's going on with Elsa. So we're going to do a quick insurance 101 show after this. But this particular time frame is dedicated to Patrick Lawrence. Patrick joins us. He's going to talk about the Patrick Lawrence style. I love talking to him already. We already have some things we want to chit chat about. And then, of course, we're going to hear him perform at the end of the show. Welcome, Patrick. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
I'm so happy to have you. I loved our conversation earlier. I told you that the audience loves origin story. They want to know about you, and they'd like to know about your journey. So give us the 411 on Patrick Lawrence.
Well, first thing I want to talk about for all the viewers out there, you can probably tell how white I am. I'm actually, if you look at my bio on Facebook, and probably on the Nashville Entertainment Weekly Records website under my bio there, you'll see that I actually have albinism. You can tell by the white hair and the pale skin. Yeah, I'm. For most of my friends, I'm the whitest person they ever seen. So. Yeah, that's.
Tell us about your journey. Tell us about, and thank you for sharing that, because I think we were talking earlier how it's just so important. Share it. It's part of your bio. How about your musical journey? Were you always musical? Did you grow up around music? How did this come to be such an important part of your life?
Well, at first I was a drummer. I was in the school band and started out on the snare drum, and then. After I started playing a snare drum, I just wanted to get a drum set. So my cousin Greg bought me a drum set, and I didn't really know how to play it. But a friend of my sister's came up to my mom's house when I was, I think, 13 years old, and taught me a rhythm on the drum. And from there, I just learned how to play drums. I was able to figure out everything. And from the drums, I got interested, as I got older, I got interested in writing. And then somebody gave me a guitar when I was 15, 16 years old. And then as soon as I touched that guitar, I just kind of knew that I wanted to play. And so I had many teachers from teachers at school, teachers at different schools I've been to, my stepdad, my cousin Greg, just really a lot of people. And even YouTube. But YouTube has really been a big help. As I'm older now, I don't ask help from anybody. I just search something on YouTube and I'm able to find it.
YouTube's the best, right? But it's also good for music and people, creatives like you. What's been your process of figuring out what style of music? How would you identify your style? And did you develop that over time? How did you know this was the type of music you wanted to write with, perform with, and utilize in your career?
Originally, I wanted to do modern country. But then when I was in high school, I was working in a classic country radio station. I went to the West Virginia School for the Deaf and Blind, and they had a radio station, Classic Country 104.1 FM. And I was working on that radio station, and I really was loving the classic country music. And that's where I learned about Dwight Yoakam, Jerry Lee Lewis. They even had some Jerry Lee Lewis stuff on there, even though he really wasn't country, but he had that honky tonk style. Buck Owens. And
I forgot about Buck Owens.
Yeah, I love Buck Owens. And I just started playing their songs. And then I wanted to play just like them. And I started even writing songs like them back in that day. And then I just kind of, as time went on, I was I started getting into bluegrass, and I just kind of developed my own thing. One day I wrote a song. It had like a certain riff in there, and I just kind of went with it. And I was like, I really love this style of song I wrote. That song was actually the Storm song that I'll be performing later. I came up with that riff, and I just been wanting to write songs kind of like that, because it wasn't like Buck Owens, it wasn't like Dwight Yoakam. It was my own thing, and it just kind of came out of me. So I kind of ran with it. I always tried to incorporate the Bakersfield sound in my music, even though I don't play a lot of their songs anymore. I still try to incorporate it a little bit. So a lot of my riffs and stuff that I use, it's kind of like a mixture of 1930s and 40s country with like a mixture of the 1950s and 60s country and bluegrass. So I just kind of make everything feel like it could be bluegrass or it could be country.
How did you pivot? How did you pivot during 2020? By the way, that's beautiful. I can't wait to hear you play. Well, everybody keeps asking about it, guys. Well, he's going to play at the end. How did you pivot in 2020? What was that like when you couldn't perform anymore? Did you become more creative and write more songs? Were you, a lot of artists went that way, but a lot also said they had a hard time getting past writer's block. What was your experience?
Well, me, I'm actually kind of unique because up until now, I really haven't performed a whole lot. In the past, when I lived back in, I haven't actually I performed at a bar the other night for an open mic night a few nights ago. And that was probably the first time I performed in 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And then I had after that, I had a performance at an event my college was putting on, and they invited me to come play. But really, I haven't performed much. Most of my music life has been sitting at home, writing songs, making little videos and recordings in my small home studio, and just doing it for fun. And then the music industry, I just started, talking to people, and then people messaging me, and really, it just kind of, my success just came from communication. It happened real quick. I went from a small record label in May, got signed in May, to Nashville Entertainment Weekly in June. So it just kind of,
that's awesome,
very quickly. And now it's like I didn't really have a band together, and I'm starting to get a band together now. It's like I've been rushing trying to get one together because I never had one before, and I've got a record deal, so you gotta
get out and back it up.
It's really hard to find a band this time because of COVID, and a lot of the musicians, the good ones, are already in bands, and they don't want to. I thought, being on a record label would encourage people to join me, but it helps, but it's actually not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So but I am getting some really good music
for 2021.
2021, I'm hoping we're hoping we get some good. My band, we almost have a full band together, and we're going to be doing some practicing, and we're hoping to get to going to be playing in some festivals, maybe traveling around West Virginia, playing at some other bars and stuff, just getting our name out there, building my credibility. That way, in the future we can perform at some big venues. Really let our our music shine there. Go and travel to some states that have the right demographic. Because West Virginia really isn't the right demographic for my style. But we have found a lot of people who like it, so I'm confident that even though it's not the right demographic, we can have a big enough fan base to where the credibility will still be strong.
I think the performance 2021 is where everybody's starting to get back out and test the waters on what they built in 2020. So I'm excited to hear. All right, so you all saw the graphic. I used it when I was promoting the show, everyone, and I had a lot of comments on how cool that graphic looked. Your picture. So kudos to your photographer there. Tell us what you're going to perform for us and give us sort of the background on it.
Well, this song I'm going to be performing is called The Storm Song. I wrote this many, many years ago. The recording that I did was actually from 2017 after I rewrote the song 3 times until I got it perfect. The inspiration act from that song actually came from a song that I used to play on the radio station a lot called Big Winds by Porter Wagner. And I always consider myself a competitive songwriter. When I hear a song I really like, I'm like, I want to write a song better than that.
Love it.
And I feel like that's what I do. So this Storm, it doesn't sound anything like Porter Wagner. You wouldn't even be able to tell the inspiration came from there, but it's where it came from. And
fantastic.
That's how I came up with it.
I'm going to take myself off. I'll give it up for Patrick Lawrence.
I was on the farm with my daddy one day. We picked up a scatter-yeller and it began to rain. Daddy looked down at me and said, "Stop what you are doing. Look over there, we got a big old twist of ruin. Son, go get your sister and mother from the house. We'll be there was too late to get to the cellar, we had to shut the door. And I believe I never will see his face anymore. I was so afraid and terrified. On the day I saw my daddy fly. On the day I saw my daddy fly. After the storm, we left the cellar to say our last goodbye. Daddy and the farm flew away into that blue sky. We gathered in a circle to pray, hug, and cry. And mourn that very day, my dear old daddy died. The town all gone together to help rebuild the farm. Knowing daddy was up in heaven, helped us carry on. I took over the farm like any good son would. Lord, if I could go back and save him, I would. When he was too late to get to the cellar, we had to shut the door. And I believe I never will see his face anymore. I was so afraid and terrified. On the day I saw my daddy fly. On the day I saw my daddy fly.
Oh my God, I love that. I usually look at my phone a little bit when somebody's performing. That was so good. You had a lot of love and a lot of comments on all the platforms. It reminded me of Hank Williams, and that beautiful. It's not twangy, because I think twangy is actually a positive thing, but it has that old school country to it. And I was following along with the story, and the storytelling was where it's at. Between that and your amazing guitar playing, that's an awesome song, Patrick. I loved it.
Oh, well, thank you. That song's written to where it could have a banjo put into it. It could have drums put into it. It could have mandolin. You could have harmonica put into it. That just seems like a song where you can add all these things into it. So it could go either way. It could be bluegrass. It could be country. In any setting you want to do it, it can be transformed.
And when you sing it, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's going on? I like to ask performers when they write a song, it's like your baby. And so when you're performing that, what's going on in your mind? What are you feeling at that moment?
Well, when I sing that song, I actually always see the story in my head, I've always been obsessed with storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis. Every time, or end of the world type movies, I always love that. So it always just kind of brings back memories of this kind of movies that I love. And actually, something interesting when you mentioned that, and I think the audience would love this too. I actually have this weird condition where when I hear sounds or hear certain words, I see colors bounce around in my head. When I hear some people talk, they have colors. When I hear music, I see colors. Sometimes when I hear notes, I hear colors with them. Like when I talk to somebody and hear their voice, sometimes I see a color.
It's so cool.
You notice on my one of the pictures on my page, it's yellow. The cover photo is yellow and red. The reason that photo is yellow and red, because when I play the storm song, the colors yellow and red bounce around in my head like crazy. And I was thinking, you know what? That song always brings a bunch of yellow and red colors. I'm going to use that as my cover photo. And whenever I come out with my first album, yellow and red is going to be the album cover, the colors. It's going to have that kind of look to it.
You have such a great story, and not only do you have a great story, you're a great storyteller, which to me is really what it's all about. That was awesome. All right, Patrick, tell them how they can learn more about the Patrick Lawrence style, how they can reach you, find your music. Y'all get out and download and buy and support everything Patrick's doing. What's the easiest way?
Well, the easiest way is right now to go on Facebook. You either search the Patrick Lawrence style, or I think there's a link on there. You can just search Patrick Lawrence music. That should bring my Facebook page up. I also have an Instagram page. It's called the Patrick Style, and that's really the best way to to reach me. Hopefully in the future I'll have a website, but that's still in the works. So yep, Facebook is what I've been primarily focused on growing.
Good. Well, get out there, y'all. Support Patrick. Patrick, that was so good. I really enjoyed that. I don't do a lot of research. I don't listen to the music beforehand because I like to get into it. And I think that was really awesome. So good. All right, y'all, get out and support Patrick. The Facebook page is scrolling across the bottom, but of course, we've tagged him on all the platforms. And if you really can't find him, reach out to me and I'll put you in touch. Patrick, have a safe 4th of July holiday, and you guys all do the same. Get out and support our creatives like Patrick. It's super important. 2020 was crazy. Everybody's coming back in 2021, and let's show them some love and support. All right, we'll see you guys later. Everybody have a great one. Thank you, Patrick.